Hi everybody, so welcome back to the channel. No work update in this video. Been a really busy week with work, so I've not had any time to be out in the garage and actually get any footage on anything, so I thought I'd best update you where I am following the Cadwell race weekend and the trials and tribulations that had there that have led to quite a lot of little catch-up jobs that I need to do. So got Donnington coming up on Saturday, Sunday, I think the 18th and 19th of May. Track I do enjoy. I did find though when I was at Cadwell I was immensely unfit, so one of the things I'm going to be trying to do at the next race weekend is give you more of an update as events unfold, so that I can keep you up to speed with what we're doing with the bike, how the weekend's going and how progress is being made. I know a few of you asked if I could just give a bit more build up to each race and then sort of a debrief on the back end of the race as to what happened and how the bike felt and how it's performed and any changes I'll be making. So I will do. I thought it would be quite a good opportunity just to take stock of where we are at the moment, so I can keep you in the loop with where the channel's going and what the plans are for upcoming videos. So you'll see behind me that the 1199S is on the bench, ready to be stripped. It's the next project that I've got going on, not to do with the racing. This is more to just keep a track focused bike. So I've got an 1199S engine in there at the moment, and those of you that know Panigales know that the com rods do have a tendency to fail when being used at continuous high revs such as track use. So I've got an 1199R engine to go in there that's got the titanium com rods, which will be a much better proposition for using on track, which is what hopefully I should be doing with this bike. As I did with the Thunder bike, I'll take you through the process of updating the bike. I intend to make it a lot more track focused than it currently is. So it does have the Ducati Performance Race bodywork on there. So it's got the light blanks, both front and rear. It's had the ABS disconnected at the moment, but I'm going to do a lot more with it just to get it to a place where I'm more comfortable to push it to its limits, and I'll take you through that. So where are we with the Thunder Bike 748 and the Honda RS250? Well, let me take you to each bike and we'll have a talk through what the current problems are. First, the Honda RS250. If you'll remember from the Cadwell update that I did just prior to the second race of the weekend, we had the clutch go on this. That was sorted at the track. We had all brand new steels and fibres to put in. Clutch is all set up, ready to go. When we were starting the bike up again, we found that the water pump was leaking water, so I've taken this off at the moment and I'll talk through that in a second. But there's an intermediate case that sits here, so this contains oil from the gearbox, and then there's an intermediate case, and on the front of that is the water pump body, and I'll show you what that is. In between there's a little indicator hole to show you whether or not the seals are leaking. That was leaking water when we restarted the bike up at Cadwell, so we took the decision to park the bike up and not use it for the rest of the weekend, which was a bit gutting. What I found is this. So when we took it apart, found that the gearbox side seal, the oil seal, had failed. Also the water pump seal had failed. So what you get is, this is the intermediate case I was talking about. There's a little indicator hole there. This sits on the bike like that, and you'll notice inside the two seal mounts you've got the indicator hole to see if water or oil's penetrating, to let you know what's going on. I had water coming out. What it turned out to be is that the end of the water pump impeller shaft had corroded slightly. Not much, but enough to pit the shaft, and whoever had fitted the water pump seal, as you can see there, had driven it in quite hard with something on the middle of the seal, and that had caused it to fail. That then allowed water to pass into the indicator hole within the intermediate pump body, but worse still, it was acting against the oil seal on the impeller side, and that had caused water to get into the oil. So this sludgy mix is what I had in the gearbox after a very short run, because that was fresh oil before we did the meeting. So this has been fully stripped down. I managed to source an alternate impeller, because these are no longer made. I managed to get that from somebody in Northern Ireland. So luckily the seal was in, the bearing's in good condition. There's no wear or anything on that. I've got the replacement seals, just got to stick that in together during the week, and I will film putting it back together, and we'll get that done. The impeller is, don't worry about that, it's the oxide build up from it being in an aluminium environment, so that's not too much of an issue. It's actually in quite good condition other than that, so that will go on the end of here, and then we'll put the water pump all back together. So with that minor piece of work, we should be back to having the Honda RS250 working. The other piece I need for the Honda RS250 is this is the master cylinder off the RS250, which, if you'll remember, during the race meeting when I had my crash on the 748, we destroyed the front master cylinder. I have got a spare one to put on there, so this will come back off and go back onto the RS250, and we'll put a standard Ducati master cylinder on for the Duke to be able to use. Which leaves us in a nice place to talk about the Ducati. So everything that was damaged at the race meeting has been resolved. I need to order some new bodywork, so at the moment I'm just polishing out the scratches from, or the worst of the scratches from, the bodywork. I'll show you that in a second. I've got to do an oil change and filter change because we've got the original build oil in there, so that's now done a couple of races, so it should be good enough now to drop out, and we'll be able to check it for any sort of metallic debris and see if there's been any unnecessary wear and tear inside the engine, which will give us a feel for the longevity of the bike. The only other problem that we had, if you remember, was that the throttle cable assembly was damaged here. I'll also change this out quickly as well, because I've got a spare one of these to go on, and we'll keep this as a come in handy spare in the parts box. So this is the fairing panel that we damaged at Cadwell. Some quite deep scratches in there that I'm not going to bother to take out. Obviously some gel coat damage, and some cracking down here. You may or may not be able to make that out. What I've currently done so far is just quickly sanded it with a 600 grit, gone over it with an 800, and just started to go over it with a 1200, and then I'll just give it a polish, which is the test area was just done down here, and it will look passable. We'll have hopefully fresh bodywork for Snetterton, which is in another three weeks, so this will become a spare set of bodywork and will take away those problems. But we're good to go on the 748. So what's next for the channel? Well, as I said earlier, the 1199S, you'll see at the moment that it's in pretty nice condition. It's got a good engine inside it, but being it's the standard S, it's got standard road pipes. So I've got an 1199R engine to be sticking in there, so this will get a bit of a clean up and a spruce up before it goes into the bike, but that is all good and ready to go. On the little toys front, we've got a full Termi system to go with the 1199R engine, and I also have the noise eliminators that can go in the end, so for UK track days there's a bit of a help, because they can be a bit strict on noise. Okay, so that's the current state of play with DesmoWerx as it stands at the moment. I'm sorry that there was not any build footage or anything like that during this video. I just thought it important to explain what's going on. There'll be hopefully a decent set of videos that will come out not next weekend because I'll be racing, but probably the sort of Tuesday or Wednesday the following week. So hopefully some more on board footage from both the 748 and from the Honda RS250, and I'll also have some footage of the repairs that I just talked through that have got to be completed during this week. I'm really running tight for time. My van that I take the bikes to and from track has got its MOT due this week, which in the UK is a test to show that your vehicle is legally compliant. So I've had to do a lot of work on that yesterday, which is the only time I really had for doing anything, which was a bit annoying, but it's necessary if I'm going to get some track time in on the bikes. So, and it personally, I felt it wasn't sexy enough to actually film changing brakes and fixing hazard lights and everything on a van. If that's your sort of thing, you're probably watching the wrong channel. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please chuck me a like. It will sort of make it feel a little bit better. If you got any questions or comments or anything you'd like to see in particular around the upcoming project on the 1199, thank you for those of you that have been sending emails on things that you'd like to see on the channel. I will, over the next few months, try and get those in, so please have some patience. There's been a lot asked for, and getting the opportunity to do some of these pieces of work really depends on what bike I'm working on at the time and whether I can fit that in. So I will endeavour to try and cover off as many of the little bits and pieces that some of you have asked questions around: technical setup on Desmo Quattro engines, test stretters, some of the electric bits and pieces that have been asked for. I will try and squeeze those in the next few videos. So thank you very much again for watching. Please chuck us a like. Any questions, stick them down below in the comment section and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, would really welcome you. There is plenty of content coming up. Got the 1199 project about to start. I am going to get my old race bike tidied back up and refurbished because I might do a couple of track days on it. I don't intend to race it this season. And then kicking around in the background is a 916 SPS restoration project. So I will be kicking that off this year because that's going to be my winter project for 2019. So lots of stuff to come. Thanks for watching. See you later. Cheers then. Bye.